Hi, I'm Ken Howard, and welcome to the Gay Therapy LA podcast. Just a reminder to please leave a rating and a review wherever you find your podcasts. Let's spread the word and help guys around the world to benefit from these episodes. At least I hope you benefit from these episodes. So today I want to share with you how gay men can face any problem, how you can develop resilience, and this is part 2 on techniques. In another episode, we talked about part 1, the traits of resilient people. Today, we want to talk about the techniques. And some of these are from Susan Dunn, D-U-N-N, and some of her writing in her article about the top 10 attributes of resilient people. And there are others who've also written about resilience, but there's been relatively few resources about how gay men can do it. So I want to discuss resilience as a therapist and a coach for many years, but I also want to put it in a specifically gay male context because, that's my thing. So these traits would be important for anybody to develop, but for the LGBT community in general, and in my specialty of working with gay men in particular, there's just a few extra things to kind of consider. So the LGBT community has been especially concerned, during the President Trump era because of so many members of his cabinet who have very virulently anti-gay records in terms of public policy and their voting or even their public statements, or even who they're associated with. So things like this might bring setbacks in terms of legal rights or policies or just a general atmosphere. And people can face setbacks and barriers and losses on a community level, but on an individual level as well. The American Psychological Association has suggested 10 ways to develop skills in resilience, and you can use these whenever you face any kind of challenge in your life, something in the news, something in your family, something with your health, something with the loved one's health, something financial, something cultural, just anything that presents a challenge or a setback for you that causes you stress. So number 1 of these techniques is connect. Reaching out and having conversations with families, friends, gay community organizations, spiritual organizations, and professionals, a doctor, a lawyer, a chiropractor, a financial planner, and yes, even therapists and coaches. You can learn to help yourself in ways that you couldn't think of by yourself because the other people are coming from a different set of knowledge, skills, and perspectives. Sometimes I like to connect to older people because older people sometimes have a wisdom that I don't have as this middle-aged man. And so sometimes older people take it in stride and say, I dealt with that years ago. It's not a big deal. Here's what you do. And I get advice from them. Or sometimes I like to connect with a younger person and they say, oh, that's easy. There's a app for that, or there's a website for that, or they know something especially technically that I don't know, and they turn me on to that resource, and then I get a really good benefit out of it. So when you reach out for help, you're making a bridge between a need in yourself and a resource that lies outside of yourself. And of course, you have to know where to look. I mean, this can mean doing a Google search, an Amazon search for a book, a YouTube search for a video, or it could be about asking your doctor or asking friends like on Facebook or Instagram. You put the word out that you need something, especially connection to some kind of information or resource. And most people are happy to respond, to recommend someone or something that they think can help. It's just human nature to want to help your fellow man or fellow person, even a stranger. But you have to get over any shyness or pride about asking for help. Asking for help is a sign of self-sufficiency, responsibility, and emotional maturity, not a weakness. So connect. Number 2 is challenge your thinking. Try hard not to give in to hopelessness or seeing a problem as insurmountable. Focus on what you can do to set yourself up for success in the future and try to see opportunities for positive learning growth. And ask yourself how you can change your thinking about the current situation and reframe it into something more positive. In the last episode, we talked about how Louise Hay gives the tip when faced with a challenge to say to yourself, how can I take a positive approach to this? And this is an activating, motivating, and encouraging thought, and it helps gird you against feelings of hopelessness or helplessness or despair. Number 3 is accept change. Life can change sometimes in ways that you did not expect or want. Career changes can be this way, where life leads you to another area or field than you originally intended, and that's okay. You don't have to live the same life as an adult or at middle age that you plan for yourself as an adolescent. We evolve and grow throughout our lifetimes, and incorporating change, even when it's unexpected, can be very rewarding and is not always something to resist. Charles Darwin's theories show that it is our ability to adapt as a species and be flexible that helps our survival as a species. We hear about things like neuroplasticity or flexibility. Trees that bend in a strong wind and a storm do not break, but they bend with the wind. As my grandfather used to say, in life, roll with the punches. Number 4 is move toward goals. Make a plan and then work toward your various goals a little bit every day. This is like binary thinking in computer programmers, the 1 and the 0. There's a big difference between 1 and 0, between action and 0 action, or between a little bit of progress and 0 progress. I work with clients often on the goals that they set for themselves, and they make progress over time by checking in on these goals at every weekly session so that they avoid stagnation and they consistently make progress with a nice healthy accountability from week to week or from session to session. And this is how change happens. It's not overnight, but things can change for the better over time when you apply energy and attention to something. Improving your financial health, getting organized, developing a new professional skill, learning to date successfully, healing from past traumatic events, weight loss, fitness, working toward a major project. These things are all rewarding, but they take time and careful planning and social support and consistency to work and to achieve in the long haul. Number 5 is take decisive action. I think one of my biggest roles with clients is to help push them a little bit so that they challenge their own inertia and their fear. Thinking and stewing and ruminating about something, that doesn't help a situation much. You have to take actions to see any real and meaningful change with any situation. Sometimes you just have to try something, as Franklin Roosevelt said about the Great Depression. When asked, "Sir, what do we do about this depression?" He said, "Try something." In his case, it was developing the New Deal and an elaborate government effort to respond to the fact that people were starving in this country, and developed a whole program of how to get the country back on its feet. And you can do that as an individual, too, even in the present day. Even if you're not sure that the action is perfect, taking a decisive action starts to change a situation that you're not happy with. Number 6 is look for opportunities. Back during the recession, I worked with many guys who felt awful about losing their jobs, but sometimes they went on to change careers, open their own businesses, go back to school, or relocate in a way that brought them a refreshing reinvention of their life. Sometimes the loss of a relationship can mean a personal renaissance of focus on yourself to grow into something you never thought possible. Ask yourself with any challenge, is there an opportunity here to learn, to grow, to make new connections, to learn something, to be something that maybe I'm overlooking? Look for those opportunities. Number 7 is cultivate self-esteem. Since gay men are figuratively or literally beaten down through much of their lives through hearing anti-gay rhetoric in the news, at school, at work, at home, online, anywhere. It's no wonder that I often work with guys on cultivating a healthy, positive self-esteem. The techniques of cognitive therapy, which I use a lot, help the most with this, which is learning how to change your thinking about yourself. What if everything you knew about you was wrong? Because that can lead to a whole different understanding and experience of yourself, a subjective experience from generally bad to generally good. And there are ways that gay men can build confidence. And if you go to the gaytherapyla.com website, under the blog tab, and type "build confidence" in the little search box, you'll find another whole blog article about building confidence. Number 8 is keep perspective. When you're faced with a problem, try hard to keep a cool head and keep the situation in the proper perspective. Sometimes the immediacy of a crisis makes it feel bigger than it actually is. Keep that perspective that problems that feel big today might not even be remembered in a few months. Number 9 is maintain hope. This is perhaps one of President Obama's most frequent mantras. If you keep a hopeful outlook, it makes you feel better in the short term, and it contributes to a resolution of a problem, or at least to learn radical acceptance of a problem. Keep your eye on the prize, meaning holding a vision for what you want as an outcome to the problem and what you want your life to kind of look like over time. Practice what we call thought stopping in cognitive therapy. If your thoughts tend to race away and you get overwhelmed with negative what-if statements, just think of a stop sign and just clear your head. Clear your head and think of something new. I always say, every time you say a negative what if this happens, what if this happens, you have to balance it with a positive what if. What if I walk outside my front door and there's a madman there and he has a machete and he cuts me into a bunch of pieces? Okay, that would suck. That would be bad. Now let's balance that with a positive what if. What if I walk outside my front door today and there's an eccentric billionaire outside and he hands me a sack full of $1 million and he says, "Here, kid, you look like a nice guy. Why don't you have $1 million? Have a nice day." Okay, you're walking outside your front door in the morning. You don't know what you're going to encounter. You might encounter a bad man with a machete, and you might encounter the eccentric billionaire. You don't know, but you have to walk out your front door. And probably most of the time no one's there, and it's just fine. But we always want to balance our mind's little tricks, our anxious thought about a negative what if with a positive what if. Because as long as we're trying to predict the future of things that haven't happened yet, it's just as likely that something good will happen, that something bad will happen. Actually, it's more likely that something good will happen. And there's an article on gaytherapyla.com called Conquering Anxiety with a Positive What If, with Probability. Just go to gaytherapyla.com with the blog tab and search on probability. And there's going to be a lot more about balancing with a positive what if, because that helps manage anxiety. Number 10 is build self-care tools. Try to identify over time what helps you historically to get back on your feet. Is it talking to friends? Is it having alone time just to rest? Is it binge watching a favorite TV show or movie? Is it working out at the gym or running? Is it listening to inspiring music? There's another article I have called Self-Empowerment Through Music, the Power Playlist. That's on gaytherapyla.com. It has a lot of the gay divas that I just happen to like. But think about the kind of music that will tend to put you in a good mood after you've been in a bad one. Is it journaling? Is it doing an art therapy project? Is it spending time in nature? Is it reading up on a problem by searching online? Planning and then doing fun activities goes a long way in lifting your mood and giving you the energy that you need to address a problem head on. I sometimes clear my head by walking my dog or going on a hike because the physical activity does something to kind of clear my head. Now, building these traits of resilience and then implementing them is a process. It's not a short-term event. And so if that process is hard for you to keep focus on, then consider having therapy or coaching to help you. I'm here for you. If you live in Los Angeles or somewhere in Southern California, you can come to my office on San Vicente near Wilshire in LA. Or if you're from somewhere else, other parts of California, we can do distance therapy. And if you're in another state or another country, I see guys all over the world. It's really exciting. Then we do coaching, and I can explain to you how all of that works. And if you go to the gaytherapyla.com website, it'll explain more about that. It'll have a little pop-up box, whether you like it or not. The little pop-up box will come up and you can ask me a question through the box. Or you can just text me, 310-339-5778. So 310-339-5778. Or email ken@gaytherapyla.com. So there's other episodes of this podcast. There's articles on gaytherapyla.com, but myself and my associate clinicians in my office are here to help. So I hope you find these helpful. Let's do a quick recap of the 10 techniques for building resilience. Number 1 we said was connect, reaching out and having conversations. Number 2 was challenging your thinking. Try not to give in to hopeless or negative thinking. Number 3 is accept change through the course of your life. Number 4 is move toward your goals. Make a plan and stick with it little by little every day. Number 5 is take decisive action. Don't wait until you're 100% ready or 100% convinced. Don't be foolhardy, but at the same time understand that if you're going to improve your life, you're going to have to take decisive action. Number 6 is look for opportunities, even in things that look like they're setbacks. Number 7 is cultivate self-esteem. Stop criticizing yourself and embrace a positive, affirmational outlook of how you think about you in facing the world. Number 8 was keeping perspective. Things that seem like big problems today probably won't be in just a little while. Try to be patient and see things in the big picture. Number 9 is maintain hope. No matter what, to maintain the hope that things will get better between your efforts and the efforts of people around you and people helping you. Number 10 is build self-care tools so that you can remain strong and clear-headed no matter what you're facing. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.